So good evening everyone. We are at the tail end of the session. It's a very important topic and it's a panel discussion. At the outset, I would like to thank all the organizers for giving me an award as a co-teacher and a diagnostic support. And we are going to look at the ethics and applications and the challenges that we with me discussing this important issue. I have Dr. Anurag Chauhan, who is a professor, Department of Surgery at Diagnostic Medical College, Gwalior. He has Professor of Pediatrics at LNMC and JK Hospital, Bhopal. She's a consultant at County Hospital, Bhopal also. A very well-read person, postgraduate in pediatric nutrition with a fellowship from the Medaversity University. She's been recognized by the IAP for an instructor for PALS, CPR, and also ANRP. She's a co-editor for the Harmony official journal of Madhya Pradesh IAP Bulletin, and she's also the joint secretary for Madhya Pradesh IAP. She has a special interest in developmental neurology with lots of publications to credit. I also have with me as a faculty Dr. Kalyani Gupta, and as you can see, she is an overworked postgraduate student because her qualification she has put her name while she has kept her name blank, and she has been on emergency duty for the past 36 hours, presented a paper and now sitting here with you as one of the panelists to discuss artificial intelligence. I also have the youngest, perhaps the only, I could say, kid who's a faculty, and she is Diksha Singh. She's a student at Gajra Raja Medical College, and her areas of interest, thankfully, are public speaking and research. Now, intelligence and that's me, who's going to be the moderator for this session, and I come from Nagpur, and I'm doing a PhD in medical research, medical education. So, intelligence as it is extremely difficult to define, and as much as you try to, you'll get multiple definitions of intelligence. The only thing that you've got to remember is that sensory input plays a very important role in defining intelligence. So the more you are sensory you have a good sensory input, the more intelligent that you become. And the simplest definition that one can think of is using a previous experience for the future hurdles that you would come across. It comes from a Latin word, intelligence, which means to comprehend or to perceive. Now, while it is extremely difficult to define intelligence, we are now coming up with artificial intelligence. So, artificial intelligence is asking a machine to think, which means that we have to put in intelligence and see that the machine thinks like the human. And for this, a minimal human intelligence should be required. Now, it refers to a computer system which is designed to perform tasks that would typically require human intelligence. And these include understanding the language, recognizing images, making decisions, and learning from experience. Now, I'm going to give you some examples before I proceed to the panelists. How does it work? So, there are certain processes, and these are structured processes. You have to follow this before you make that machine think. So what are those processes? So for a particular task that you want the machine to think, you have to collect data, you have to split it, you have to select a model. You now, with that data, you're going to have an algorithm. I'm going to take you through these processes in the next few slides. Then you evaluate whatever model you have prepared, whether it is good or bad, or whether it can be used. Then you deploy it once you're very sure that it can be used. And once you have deployed it, after you have deployed it, you have to assess whether it's doing the job that it is made to do. Now, let's see. Supposing you're there to teach what a zebra is. So when you do that, you say that it's an animal and it has stripes. Okay, so is that all that we can talk about when it comes to a zebra? At this point you might say, all right, they are black and white stripes and they are on a four-legged animal. Now this animal also has stripes, but they are not black and white, and it has got horns. So there's an additional thing which is segregating this particular animal from the zebra, and that would be the number of stripes, the color of the stripes, and the horns that this animal has. We come to this. Now there's another animal with a long tail, not as tall. It has stripes, and these stripes do not complete its body. They are black, there are white stripes, and what we find is that it also has stripes on the face. So we don't know whether the zebra had it. So we have to assess all these points, connect them together, make an algorithm. So for a zebra, it has to be four-legged, stripes have to be black and white, the tail shouldn't be very long, there have to be black and white stripes on the tail, no horns, etc. So once you make this algorithm, you feed it into that machine so that it is able to identify a zebra. Is that all? Is artificial intelligence superior to the intelligence that you have? That's a machine. You have made it. So you should always be one upon a machine that is there. And this is really important when you talk of the ethics. So once you have taught the child or the student all these things, you come across another species which has got stripes. Is it the same as a zebra? The answer is no. So this again comes into another category. So there should be an algorithm which would be excluding this. Okay, so you have done all your work and then this comes up. So once you have the algorithm ready, can I have an answer? What animal is this? Would you like to call it a zebra? Why? Because you don't see the stripes. But the first look that you get at it, is it a zebra? Now this photograph is an actual photograph which I have taken from the collection by Sudhir Shivram, who's a world-renowned photographer, and I have taken permission before I put it. Now this is a genetic mutation. So these are the limitations that you have when it comes to artificial intelligence. So it can never be superior to what a human has. Now the WHO at this point also recognizes the importance of artificial intelligence, and it has permitted the medical field to utilize AI-based products. And they extend much beyond imaging and pathology-based diagnostic modalities, and they are being used practically in every field of medicine. Now there are applications in education also. Now these are a few which the panelists will once again take you through, and the integration of AI into medical education would be across 4 domains: personalized tutoring, procedural simulations, diagnostic trainings, and competency assessment. Extremely important for a teacher, and these are the things that we would normally be teaching, and AI is going to help us with this. But before we go on, what exactly we would be using it as a teacher, and since ethics are concerned, it's necessary that we go into the regulations of artificial intelligence in medical education. These are the clinical applications, and I would ask Dr. Anurag if he is aware of any regulations as far as artificial intelligence in the field of medical is concerned.
Definitely, there are regulations, and most significant is GDPR, which stands for Generalized Data Protection Regulation. It was started in 2016, but it came into effect in the European Union or European Economic Area, we can say. It means that it is basically connected to all the data which belongs to the persons of European Union. Also, it implies to organizations that are dealing with the persons of European Union or European Economic Area, be it in India, be it in America, but this rule applies to all those. There are 7 principles of GDPR, that is lawfulness, fairness and transparency, which means that you have to process data legally, ethically and with clear communication to the data subjects. Data should only be used for the purpose for which it is being collected. Only minimum, adequate and necessary data should be collected, and it should be accurate and up to date. There should be limitation, that means it should be stored only to the purpose till the purpose is solved, and then it should be erased. Data should be privatized, or it should be maintained with integrity and confidentiality. There should not be any leaks, and one should be accountable. One should take responsibility. And now that comes that what is the GDPR relevance in AI? Actually, GDPR is for data protection, and artificial intelligence deals with lots and lots of data. So their convergence brings to the relevance. AI system is often collecting and processing large volumes of personal data. Automated decision makes an impact on privacy rights, like black box problems. One is not able to understand how this machine is taking a decision on its own, and it is also difficult one to explain how it is being done or how it is affecting one's rights, because if human is affected by machine, it is very difficult to digest, and also it is very difficult to explain. So transparency also comes here, because all the algorithms which are being done in AI is opaque. The neural circuits, everything is very complex. It is not easy to explain to data subjects. And legal basis for AI data processing is how to maintain lawfulness, that there should be a strict, confidential, implicit, applied, and specific consent from the data subject. There should be a contractual necessity. Once an AI is doing something for a data subject, there comes the necessity of contract. There are legal obligations that one has to explain to data subjects how his data is going to be processed. There should be legitimate interest, like public interest should be there. It should, for everyone it should be there. There should be fairness and transparency. Vital interest should be protected, and public interest tasks should be on priority basis, like public hygiene, public monitoring systems should be there, and a smart city maintenance or like these should be the process for. What are the challenges? Again, data controller versus processor. Both things. One is data is being controlled by AI and also is being processed. These should be implied to data subject. Ensuring algorithmic transparency. Here again comes the black box concept, that it is very difficult to explain to the data subject how his data is going to be collected, used and processed. Data should be collected in minimally requirement basis, and anonymization means data should not be disclosed to anyone. There should be cross-border data flow restrictions according to GDPR. That means once the data is out of the EEC domain, but it should maintain the strict and same regulations which are for European Union. Like data anonymization and pseudonymization. Anonymization means that once you have used the data of a subject, it cannot be found out. And pseudonymization, data identified should be replaced by some pseudo data, that one cannot identify which data is being used. Privacy should be an important concept both from design and during default, that when the AI system is being formed, from start it should be in the design, and also strict encryption policy should be there during processing. Again, algorithm transparency and explainability, I have explained that black box problem is there. Regular data audit should be done. That means if the data is corrupted, it should be deleted. If new data is required, it should be again collected. And impact assessment should be there, that where we are lacking. Regular checkups should be there, regular assessment should be there.
Imposing certain obligations, and we need to see that we follow all this. So the data has to have a privacy, it has to be strictly private. Like for example, if you have collected data of children with rheumatoid arthritis, you just cannot share it with somebody else who's doing data on other connective tissue disorders. So this is extremely important and it violates the human right. So that one has to keep in mind. Now, does India have any such policies? What you spoke of was the GDPR as designed by the European Union. Could you just tell us something about the Indian scenario?
And also, India has a very proactive and responsible stand on AI. India basically follows the motto innovation with responsible governance. And for this, ICMR have designed certain principles which we have to follow for medical AI. Like accessibility and equity. There should not be discrimination for underprivileged to AI access. Risk minimization safety should be of principal concern. There can be collaboration with different players. Autonomy, that means human supremacy should be maintained. Data privacy, I have already discussed. Same as in for GDPR, there should be accountability and liability. If something in AI goes wrong, who is going to be responsible? The developer, the hospital, the user. It should be trustworthiness, that the data security and trustworthiness should be there. Validity and non-discrimination and fairness, again same. Optimization and data quality, that whatever data is required only should be used and only for the purpose it should be used and not for other purpose.
Could you just also tell us a bit about ethics in AI?
Definitely, ma'am. Again, as artificial intelligence is impacting our society, economy and human rights, so it has to maintain ethics. And ethics makes AI ensure technology serves humanly responsibly. Again, the key focus is there on fairness. That means it should be for everyone, not depending on the society's educational level, money level. It should be accountable, that somebody has to take responsibility of owners. And certain core ethical principles has to be followed. That respect for autonomy, that again human supremacy should be there. There's non-maleficence, means there should be no harm in using AI to anyone. It should work for the beneficial. Justice should be there. Veracity means it should be truthfulness. Fidelity, it should be faithfulness. It builds public trust. Again, AI should prevent bias and discrimination. It should responsibly promote innovations and ensure compliance with legal and moral standards. The common ethical issues we face in AI is again algorithmic bias and discrimination. That means if you use a corrupted data for training of AI, it will give corrupted results. It cannot be then standardized. Lack of transparency in decision making, again black box problem, that is, it is very difficult for one to explain how the AI is taking a decision, because the decision taking process of the AI algorithms is very opaque. It is very difficult for humans to interpret. There is always a risk of invasion of privacy, the data being leaked to third party apps. Again, it will lead to job displacement, but it can also lead to job recreation or upskilling of the present skilled laborers. There have been ethical frameworks which have been decided or formed by UNESCO, first in 2021. Then Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, they laid certain AI principles in 2019. European Union AI Act is already in presence, and national Indian AI policies are also emphasizing responsible innovation. This is one of the serious challenges what we are facing. Deepfakes, synthetic hyper reality videos, audio clips and images which are being circulated in very vast extents and creating misinformations. AI is creating them and AI is also the tool to check them. So both there is an arm wrestling between both the arms. Autonomous weapons, again, these are autonomous weapons, they are taking the supremacy without non-human involvement and they are deciding the life and death That means skilled robots. They are being used. Non-humanly warfares are being generated because of this. Ethical use of generative AI, again chatbots, image generators are being regularly used in large amounts by us. And AI's impact on employment and mental health is going to be a issue. Ethical AI ensures technology benefits. These are our conclusions for all of humanity. It should be based that it serves humanity. It requires a collaboration between technologists, policymakers, and society. Future of AI is balancing innovation with moral responsibility with good governance. Artificial intelligence is not inherently good or evil. It's the responsibility behind it that matters.
So that was a very intense talk about ethics, patients that we have. Now coming to AI as a tutor and generator of educational consent. So my question goes to Dr. Shweta Anand. Is there any role of AI in pediatrics?
Already a beautiful description has been done by you and Dr. Anurag. Just a diagrammatic presentation. This AI is a deep learning mechanism where the input has to be given by the humans. So they have a total control, can be done by us in a good way, and we just put a real data, actual data with a good algorithm, and this neural networks that the purple circle is there, they are the artificial neural networks. They go with the machine learning, and after the machine learning, the finally artificial intelligence gives the output. So input has to be given by the human, which should be very relevant. Every data should be justified, and after that, in pediatric medicine, we have studies where in asthma risk prediction, before the child's develop asthma, we can easily analyze the child can undergo asthma and we can manage before going with the excavation. In rare disease management, all we know with the med genomes, genetic studies, AI are really working where the DNA and the RNA diseases can be identified very early. Pediatric sepsis, especially the neonatal sepsis, the studies are there within the 48 hours before the human can analyze the sepsis. The vital tool parameters can analyze the sepsis beforehand and can be managed early. Radiology is nothing like, even the radiologists are not available, but they are worried about their jobs because AI may replace in future their jobs. Pediatric autism very, very nicely because with the voice, speech, and with the management also, pediatric autism, AI is a very good tool for us. For depression and anxiety for adolescent, yes, AI is working, and we have to put the data safely in a controlled and in a ways where we get an actual of the diseases. Next.
We have already covered this. Would you like to skip it?
No, just the similarity that everything which Dr. Anurag and ma'am has said, ethics will always be there with the AI. You have to be fair, non-judgmental, and you should be, the bias is algorithmic bias that has to be taken care. Next.
So who is responsible when the artificial intelligence algorithm makes an error? Is it the machine or is it the doctor?
Very, very good questions. Who will be negligent if AI makes an error? The answer will be clinicians. The various examples are there and they are very large number data. IBM Watson for oncology, where the treatment therapeutic protocols were made for the oncology patients. They were given to the patients and out of them maximum turned out to be wrong. So this was the black box conundrum. What Sir is saying is a very deep integrated machine learning inside that AI machine. If you don't feed the data, everything goes wrong and you will be finally responsible. The second was AKI alert. 6 million users were enrolled for the AKI, that is acute kidney injury, and the data was leaked, consent was not taken, and the Google has took out this project. So it was a great loss also. So consent should also be having the problem where the responsible AI don't take part. It is a clinician has to be very privacy to be maintained. Text X-ray triage was done in India itself in the Nagpur, where the QXR was the image. 15% presumptive TB case diagnosed through the radiology, but then the people of the radiology refused that this is taking our problem, so they just reported. So finally, the AI makes an error, the responsibility will be the clinician itself.
So do you have any recommendations for this?
Already the regulations has been summed up by Dr. Anura. Yes, ICMR beautiful 78 pages guideline are there. Responsible AI by the Niti Aayog, where the morning the discussion was going on with the AI also.
So is there a way out, and what would you suggest?
This is for the main for the medical education where the AI goes. So it is for the student perspective as well as for the teacher's perspective. Already digital literacy was beautifully given by Dr. Harish Pepte, and Dr. Rosie has already said too many tools. But yes, from the student point of view, tutoring systems, language learning systems are there. For the supportive systems, yes, assessment and evaluation can be done through the AI, which is very time easily, and it is in very less time you can easily assess the MCQ based assessment. Self-reflection support can also be done through AI. But teachers, yes, plagiarism detections through the thesis becomes very easy tool for us to then check whether the child is copying or the students are copying the answers. System is for the education and research. So medical education really needs AI as a co-teacher, but some are there. This is very beautiful slide where the AI works as a teacher and students. For the students, chatbots are available. Ma'am has answered, told about that, although it is a paid tool now. They answer the queries 24/7. There are summaries of the textbook as well as of the lecture. So hardly people are not attending the class. Maybe this may be the also reasons because they are getting ready in hand summaries. Quiz and assessment generations are for us, which is very good. Even for the pre-PG preparations, they are getting good AI help. Speech to text transcription for lecture recording. This is what is that they record the lectures and they get the text descriptions. They also have the personalized learning for the students like adaptive reading and language feeding for the communication skill. This is a beautiful slide which is of social studies schools and the main teachers of all classes. Everything AI has a good impact. You can see with the right side column that is with the impact. Behavior and the emotion is a big question mark for the AI. The teachers cannot difficult, they are finding difficult to establish the rules for the behavior and order among the students. And secondly, they also have the problems that how to solve the problems with the guardians and the counselor regarding the behavior. Rest for the teaching material, for the assessment, AI was very good and the impact was very good. So the challenges in the medical education, yes, all we have discussed is sometimes the light goes on, electrical facilities if not there, internet is not there, in developing regions, yes, modern tools are still on the way, future ahead. People and the teachers are not, resource constraints are there, they have not training facilities. We also need training multiple times to get accustomed with the AI. And lastly that yes, there is a collaboration defect, which are the connectivity challenges. How we can improve it is just through the training facilities can be given, and the final conclusion is we have to integrate the modern educational technology in the medical education, and it is the transforming future healthcare professions by training, enhancing engagement, improving accessibilities and better preparing students for challenges of the real world clinical practice, which is still under consideration.
So thank you, Shweta. That was a wonderful as a medical teacher in pediatrics, the input that you have given. So we also have a postgraduate here, and I would request Dr. Kalyani to guide us. So my question to you would be, do you teach the undergraduates?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you take the support of artificial intelligence in preparing for your classes?
Yes, ma'am. Artificial intelligence is a very key factor which helps me to become a good teacher for my UG students. As AI is reshaped medical education and clinical practices, for postgraduate learner it functions as co-teacher or to also act as a diagnostic aid and research partner. Yet, adoption raises critical questions about ethics, accuracy and clinical dependence, which is mostly discussed by our sir and ma'am.
So has it shaped you as a teacher?
Yes, ma'am. AI has acted as a co-teacher and also shaped me to become a teacher. As AI is 24/7 available, that sometimes we cannot carry our heavy books or cannot consult our seniors. So it helps to go through any content and also helps in adaptive modules tailored content to learn gaps, which means that it customizes the module and addresses every learner weak points. And it also helps in case-based discussion and simulation learning in the limited resource setting. And also we can get instant actionable feedback from the AI.
So, how has it shaped you as a teacher?
Ma'am, it encouraged me as a self-paced, reflective learning and exposed me to diverse clinical cases. And it also not only supports me in learning to become a good PG resident, but also transformed me and taught me the approach for teaching. It also influences and increase my confidence and mentoring my juniors, and also it contains richer evidences based linking for the materials which I taught to them. But the most important thing is we have to emphasize on the critical appraisal of AI suggestion. That means we just don't blindly accept what AI is saying. Just we have to make the AI suggestions as a draft and enlighten with our brain's torchlight.
That's a good one. So, could you just tell us what would you do, like what are the limitations you feel would be there with AI in pediatrics for a postgraduate?
There are many limitations with AI as when we use the AI, everything comes with pros and cons. And if we use AI, for example, we want any simple chest X-ray interpretation or any neonatal sepsis algorithm or stratification or any growth chart or anomaly detection, then we have to put a proper command and we have to put proper algorithm for that so that AI can give a proper data out of it. So the main limitation is that AI actually don't have any brain. We have to use our brain to command AI.
Okay. So would you rely on a textbook or AI for preparations?
Ma'am, actually the best approach is we have to use both hand in hand. That is a good approach. But as AI tools are very fast, we can use it in a go-through way, and in any place we can use AI, and it also gives different resources compiled at a single place. So it is quite easy to use AI, but the textbooks are very important to confirm whether the AI is what AI is telling us is right or not. It provides a concept-based depth data, ethical framework, and a tested clinical algorithms. And so it is very important before relying 100% on AI, the textbook data should also be available to confirm whether the what AI is giving us is right or not.
What are the ethical dilemmas that you have faced personally?
There are many ethical dilemmas as using AI to draft. If we use AI to draft any case summaries, then we have to think that if we put the data in it for drafting the case summaries, but there is a very fine line between whether we are using AI as assistance or we are crossing academic dishonesty while using the AI. And also for any algorithm we have to put data, even the patient's data, their case summary, their clinical history. So AI, the consent is a big issue which we are not taking by our patients. And also the AI may take that data for secondary use in some other time frame. And there is also another limitation like that already sir has mentioned, that classical black box phenomenon in which we give input to the AI and it generates the output. But what is the process of generating the output, that we don't know. And it combines many resources, but we cannot rely that whether the resources are right or not. And these are the ethical principles which were already discussed.
So what is the way forward for medical postgraduates?
That is, first of all, we have to learn that how much AI knows. That is, AI literacy is very important. Understand algorithms, we have to perform their performance matrices and common failure modes. Use AI responsibly. That we have to do proper research and we have to understand whether AI is doing right or not. And develop critical appraisal, and we have to blend technology with empathy as well, as AI cannot teach us to become human. And this is a small conclusion and takeaway message that if we combine AI with humanism, we can become smarter. So there should be AI literacy program, which should be indulged in our program so that we can use it in a more effective way rather than exploiting it.
So thank you so much, Kalyani. for a very good perspective so that teachers can also consider what the postgraduates think about it. And then we come to our youngest participant. So we have Diksha Singh, and she's going to give us the undergraduate perspective. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes for this. So my question to you is, do you use AI as a tool? Ever used it?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. AI definitely is the discovery of the century, and at every point of life we do use it a lot.
So what programs do you use?
Most common ones we use are ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini. Grok being one of the latest ones, but mainly it's between ChatGPT and Perplexity. What it mainly does is concise a whole lot of information for us. For example, to make things into flowcharts or tabular form or have a more visual representation, we do use AI.
So with all these things, do you think that AI can replace a teacher?
Ma'am, I think nothing can replace the warmth of a human, the warmth and the experience of a human and a teacher. So AI can definitely not replace a teacher at all. What it can do is help a teacher to teach better and help a student to learn better. So it should definitely be used as a tool rather than as a competition.
So my another important question, which I want a very honest answer, is does AI help you in cheating in an online exam?
I have never personally
No,
used
it's
it,
not a personal
but
thing.
it can be.
Can it be used? My
Definitely.
question is, like,
I
as a
think if you're smart enough and sneaky enough, you can definitely cheat.
so you can cheat with artificial intelligence,
Yes.
and I'm sure artificial intelligence is going to monitor your eye movements to see that where your eyes are going. So if it go off screen, it could also mean that you're looking at another screen to answer it. So I'm sure we are going to use AI to detect AI plagiarism. So it does help us in teaching, so that's a good point for most of the students. Now they can go and find out how to use AI to teach. And yes.
So I think I would just like to conclude that AI should support teachers and not replace them. Nothing can beat the clinical judgment and the experience of a teacher. And teachers should definitely use AI to teach better and help concise their notes, and students should use them definitely to make it more accessible and convenient. So it's a win-win situation for both of us.
Thank you so much, Diksha. With that, we come to the end of our panel discussion. And if there are any questions, the panelists would take them. Otherwise, I could declare this session as over.
Just a question to undergraduates.
Undergraduates.
There will be two types of teachers. One is traditional teacher, one is teacher who is using it. Who will be the better one?
I definitely think that depends on the teacher as well. And I think the matter is not about which teacher is better, but what is easier and more convenient for the teacher.
Better teaching you.
Definitely AI, because it is more concise and it is more adaptable and it is available 24/7 for us. So definitely I would say that AI.
Teacher who uses AI.
Video.
I have seen
देखिए sir. So all of us have prayed.
We have seen this video.
And have you seen the second part of this video? हाँ, तो अभी हम ये देखने के बाद अब ये शेर कितना बेचारे को बुरा लगा है, उसने वापस लाया है, उसने पानी की बोतल दे दिया है, कुर्सी ठीक कर दिया है, और उसने भी थैंक यू उसको बोला है, और अब देखिए दोनों अपने अपने रास्ते चले जाते हैं।
इसका कल ही
So,
पहले वाला AI है कि दूसरा वाला है?
दोनों ये आए हैं, तक कि शेर आपको पानी भी पिला सकता है। So thank you so much. I declare the panel discussion.